Hi kids, today I am going to share and tell you a beautiful story written by R.K.Narayan. Swami and His Friends is a book written by R.K.Narayan. The book is set in the fictional town of Malgudi. The story revolves around the life of Swaminathan, a 10-year-old boy and his friends. So let us read an excerpt from the book and see what happens on an examination day at Swaminathan school. Okay, so let's start off. With dry lips, parched throat, and ink stained fingers, and exhaustion on one side and exultation on the other, Swaminathan strode out of the examination hall on the last day. Standing in the veranda, he turned back and looked into the hall and felt slightly uneasy. He would have felt more comfortable if all the boys had given their papers as he had done, 20 minutes before time. With this left shoulder resting against the wall, Shankar was lost to the world. Rajam, sitting under the second ventilator between two third form boys, had become a writing machine. Mani was still gazing at the rafters, scratching his chin with the pen. P was leaning back in his seat, revising his answers. One supervisor had dozed off in his chair. Another was pacing up and down with an abstracted look in his eyes. The scratchy noise of active nibs, the rustle of papers, and clearing of the throats came through the brooding silence of the hall. Swaminathan suddenly wished that he had not come out so soon. But how could he have stayed in the hall longer? The Tamil paper was set to go on till 5 o'clock. He had found himself writing the last line of the last question at 4:30. Out of the 6 questions set, he had answered the first question to his satisfaction. The second was doubtful. The third was satisfactory. The fourth he knew was clearly wrong, but then he had not known the correct answer. The sixth answer was the best of the lot. It took only a minute to answer it. He had read the question at 2 minutes to 4:30, started answering a minute later, and finished it at 4:30. The question was, what moral do you infer from the story of the Brahmin and the tiger? A Brahmin was passing along the edge of a pond. A tiger hailed him from the other bank and offered him a gold bangle. The Brahmin at first declined the offer, but when the tiger protested its innocence and sincerity and insisted upon him taking the bangle, he waded through the water. Before he could hold out his hand for the bangle, he was inside the tiger. Swaminathan had never thought that this story contained a moral, but now he felt that it must have one since the question paper mentioned it. It took a minute to decide whether the moral was, we must never accept a gold bangle when it is offered by a tiger, or love of gold bangle cost one's life. He saw more logic in the latter and wrote it down. After writing, he had looked at the big hall clock. Half an hour more. What had he to do for half an hour? But he felt awkward to be the first to go out. Why could not others be as quick and precise as he? He found it hard to kill time. Why wasn't the paper set for 2.5 hours instead of 3? He had looked wistfully at the veranda outside. If only he could pluck up enough courage to hand in the paper and go out. He would have no more examinations for a long time to come. He could do what he pleased, roam about the town in the evenings and afternoon and morning, throw away the books, command Granny to tell endless tales. He had seen a supervisor observing him and had at once pretended to be busy with the answer paper. He thought that while he was about it, he might as well do a little revision. He read a few lines of the first question and was bored. He turned over the leaves and kept gazing at the last answer. He had to pretend that he was revising. He kept gazing at the moral of the tiger story till it lost all its meaning. He set his pen to work. He went on improving the little clash under the last line, indicating the end, till it began an elaborate, complicated pattern. He had looked at the clock again, thinking that it must be nearly 5 now. It was only 10 minutes past 4:30. He saw 2 or 3 boys giving up their papers and going out, and felt happy. He briskly folded the paper and wrote on the flap the elaborate inscription, Tamil W.S. Swaminathan, First Form, a section, Albert Mission School, Malgudi, South India, Asia. The bell rang in twos and threes. Boys came out of the hall. It was a though contrast to preceding 3 hours. There was the din of excited chatter. "What have you written for the last question?" Swaminathan asked a classmate. "Which? The moral question? Don't you remember what the teacher said in the class? Love of gold cost the Brahmin his life." "Where was the gold there?" Swaminathan objected. "There was only a gold bangle." "How much have you written for the question?" "1 page," said the classmate. Swaminathan did not like the answer. He had written only a line. "What? You should not have written so much." A little later he found Rajam and Shankar. "Well, boys, how did you find the paper?" "How did you find?" Shankar asked. "Not bad," Swaminathan said. "I was afraid only of Tamil," said Rajam. "Now I think I am safe. I think I may get passing marks." "No, certainly more. A class," Shankar said. "Look here," Swaminathan said. "Some fools have written a page for that moral question." "I wrote only 3/4 of a page," Rajam said. "And I only a little more than half," said Shankar, who was an authority of these matters. "I too wrote about that length." "About half a page?" lied Swaminathan as his self to his conscience, and believed it for the moment.